It
enough
would
to
be
your
horrible.
if we listen long enough to your podcast, eventually every story will come out.
Most of them. I do my best to protect the innocent and not so innocent. So if there's something really bad, I will maybe withhold a name or two. But if they're dead, I feel like they're free game, so I'll tell those stories. So
So are you still friends with all the Survivor cast?
not all of. I was never friends with all of them. I mean, just like in
The
real life,
people you
there's
were
people
friends
that you
with,
don't
you
like.
stuck. Okay.
Yes, yes. No, I mean, like, there's that we're cast on Survivor and on reality TV as a whole because we're these outgoing personalities, alpha males and alpha females and alpha others, and we're a special breed. But with these over the top personalities, there's just because we did a show together doesn't mean that we should be friends. So no, there's some survivors and other reality stars that I don't care for. Like, Boston Rob, we're not friends. We're not going to be friends. I don't want to be his friend. It's fine.
What if he wants to come on the podcast? Will you interview him?
No, I don't, because I don't have like even though I play a bad guy, I feel like there's a playfulness and a mischievousness to me that's not inherently evil. And I feel that Boston Rob is just a bad person, in real life. And so, I don't want to take time out of my life to associate with that kind of person. Like Russell Hantz, I believe, is a sociopath in real life. However, I've gotten to know Russell over the years, and I think there is very deeply hidden, something almost okay, not even good, but I can work with that. I think Boston Rob, to the core, I don't think he's a good person. So, I don't want to waste those hours, minutes, and seconds of my life talking to someone that I don't respect as a person.
So the people that you interview in your podcast, a lot of them are newer survivors.
It just depends. I mean, I'm all over. I had Richard Hatch on a few weeks ago. He was the first winner, and then but then this Wednesday I have Tommy Sheehan, who won the last season. So I'm fortunate enough that I'm considered survivor royalty. So when I do reach out to these survivors that I haven't met yet, they're just like, holy crap, Johnny Fairplay wants to talk to me. I'm just like, yeah, I mean, I think you have a story to tell, and I would like to hear it. So even Australian, like this past season on Australian All Stars, there's a guy named Dirty Harry, which I consider to be the Australian version of Johnny Fairplay. And I was just like, I really want to talk to this guy. And so I was just like, hey, can you do the podcast? He goes, well, we're not allowed to at this point. However, you're Johnny Fairplay. I don't care. I've already got my money. Let's do it. And and that was really cool. And then in addition to the survivors that I haven't met yet, that I reach out and just like, hey, do you want to talk, or do you want to talk to my podcast? There's hundreds that I have met, and and it's just fun to catch up. So,
are you still friends with the producers and all of them, or how'd you end off with them?
We're good. I mean, like, a lot of people think that I'm on the bad list, and and
you made
I
the
read
money,
on
so
Reddit.
I wouldn't think you would be.
Yeah, well, I read on Reddit, it's just like Johnny Fairplay's banned, he'll never be back, blah, blah, blah. And so I just called, I saw this enough times, I called casting, and I'm just like, hey, am I on the bad list? And they're like, nope. And I was like, all right, thank you very much. That's all I needed to know. So.
But do you guys talk to each other or not really?
The production, not so well. I mean, like, when you're out there, you have a couple producers that you directly talk to, but you don't talk to cameramen, you don't talk to sound guys. I mean, like, if there's a challenge going on, there's 200-300 people out there,
right,
and that you never interact with whatsoever. But even on the less than 6 feet away rule, there's camera guys and sound guys that like we would call, like, one guy we'd call Cheeseburger, the other guy we call Weed, because one of them smelled like cheeseburger, the other one smelled like weed, and then, like, but there's no talking, no interaction there. And then when I did celebrity bull riding, like one of the cameramen from Survivor was filming that, and he was like, "Hi, I'm Tim. Nice to meet you." And I'm like, "Oh, holy crap! You have a name. This is so weird."
So if you were to get
But yeah,
married
but it's
tomorrow, would you invite some of these people? Like that's what I'm saying. How close are you to?
production none. So cast. When I was first married to Michelle from America's Next Top Model Cycle 4, we had I think 120 reality stars at the wedding. The best men were Ethan, Burton, Rhino, and Mikey B from Survivor were my groomsmen, and then or best men because I didn't choose a best man. And then the bridesmaids were Mary from Survivor, Jenna Maraska, and Amy Kuzak. And then our minister was Lex Vandenberg from Survivor Africa. So yeah, I mean it's a really tight community. I mean I'm blessed in that Survivor gave me some of my best friends that I've ever had since I've been alive.
So are you going to launch your own reality show?
No.
You've done so many. I mean, you'd be really good at that. And you know what they're looking for. You would be the.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think if I wanted to get on the other side of the camera and work as a producer, I think that I have the bones for that. However, I feel like I'd have to live in Los Angeles just to be in that circle to be considered. But that's not what I want in my life right now. I mean, I love my two daughters. I love being here with them. I have one more Survivor left in me, and that'll take me away from them for 6 weeks. But other than that, that's it. I mean, like I like where I am. I like what I do. The podcast allows me to view outside of here. But no, I mean, I don't. There's certain milestones as a father that I don't want to miss, and so I'm here for those.
That's super cool because you're like I won't write a book because I'm not good at that. I want to tell a story this way. I won't produce a reality TV show, even though this would all be very lucrative. It's like you know exactly what you want. You want to have a stability for your girls. That's really impressive. For everyone thinks you're so mean.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just think that that's what you should do as a parent. So, I mean, as I said, one more Survivor. I will be gone for 6 weeks, but hopefully I come back with 1 million or 2 million, and their college funds will thank me for that.
Well, I think you're one of the nicest people I had ever met, and you kind of remind me like me because you're fun, down to earth, and it's hard to find that nowadays. And a lot of people say everybody on TV is fake on reality show. It's all fake, and I feel you're very authentic.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm fake in the fact that I play this bad guy, and I don't think that's even 80% me. But I will say if I'm out there filming a television show and that show requires me to be a bad guy, I'm all in. I mean, like
Right.
I'm immersed in that character, and I'm going to deliver. So so there is a dichotomy to me in that aspect, but at the same time, if I go out there and you're a friend, I'm going to be your friend out there. Like it's not just because I signed up for whatever project doesn't mean that we're not friends during this. And that's my problem with Boston Rob. I mean, like Boston Rob can separate the game from real life. I can't in that aspect, and I honestly don't respect someone that can.
Right. Is there a female Johnny Fairplay around? Have you seen something like that's like me in a female form?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Not
So
yet.
hopefully never. I don't know. I'm glad that there's only one Johnny Fairplay. So I don't think we really need another male or female version.
Right. And how was the experience overall? How much weight did you end up losing?
Oh, well, I have the record for most
What's
rewards
that?
enjoyed by a single player in the history of the game. So while most people lost between 20 and 40 pounds on average, actually Big Tom on Survivor All Stars, which was filmed in the same location I was, I believe he lost 75 pounds maybe. I lost 4. So yeah, I started the game. I started the game at 118 and I finished at 114.
That's funny. So what was the
So I'm
favorite,
like I'm
your favorite of all of
uh,
the challenges you did?
uh hmm. I liked most of them because I think I got every reward but 2 on that season. So that was, I mean, like as far as challenges to get there, probably that first challenge when we're dragging the cannon, through it's probably over a mile from start to finish, and it was physically and mentally exhausting, and to have the lead pretty much the entire time, and then to lose the lead at the very end, and then to come back at the very last second and win. We gave everything that we had, and we were literally vomiting afterwards because it was that taxing.
Nick, you ready to be a superstar?
And so
Like the thug.
for me, like I mean, you see tears in most of our eyes because it was just it was an emotional ride, from the highs to the lows to the highs again. It was that has to be my favorite.
Nice. And can we buy those hats behind you, Will Life for food?
No, actually, so when they called me for fans versus favorites, they're just like, "Hey, you need to pick a hat to wear and send it to us." And so I just went to like REI and bought like this weatherproof hat that's supposedly like the best hat that you can wear if you were to be stranded on an island. So anyway, because I just went out, I'm just like, what's like the best hat if you were shipwrecked? And they're like, huh? And I'm just like, I just need the best hat ever. And the guy's just like, this hat's it does everything. I'm just like, okay, cool. So I sent it to them, and they're like, well, what is this? And I was like, I don't know, supposedly the best hat ever. They're just like, would you wear this? And I'm like in real life? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, never. And they're like, yeah, we need you to wear. They're like, what would you wear if you were to just wear something? And I was just like, I don't know, probably like a trucker hat, with something written on it. And they're just like, well, what would you have written on it? I'm like, I don't know, will lie for food or God bless the USA. And they're just like, God bless the USA. I'm just like, yeah, how could you vote out someone with a hat that says God bless the USA? You're a horrible person. And they're just like, we'll go with will lie for food. They're just like, what, can you get that made? I'm like, no. I'm like, I live in Danville, Virginia. We don't have that crap here. I'm like, you're in LA. You make it. So anyway, so they made it for me.
What's
So,
somebody you're
but I do have
surprised?
but
You
I
could
do
buy
have
that?
shirts like, yeah. This is
So what does
Johnny
that go for?
Fairplay. Well, if you go to johnnyfairplay.com, no H in Johnny, all my shirts are only $19.99, and with every purchase, you get a phone call from me thanking you for your order.
I wish I had bought that when I did this. I would have been wearing the same shirt. Who
Yeah,
wore it
how cool is
better?
that? But this is oh, you, trust me, I've seen you. So, but no, this is the Johnny Fairplay punchable shirt. Yeah, when I was I think I'm 10 there. That is a very punchable kid right there. I mean, just boom.
Is there a fan you've ever had that you were surprised was a fan? Like the president or somebody was like, oh, I'm actually a fan of you. Were you ever surprised someone reached out to you and was watching the show and was a big fan of you?
I received a book from Bob Odenkirk and David Cross because I had mentioned that my favorite TV show was Mr. Show with Bob and David. So Bob Odenkirk, is now, Saul Goodman on Better Call Saul from, Breaking Bad. And that was really awesome, considering that those are my heroes. I was at a party on the Rodeo Walk of Style. Tom Ford received the star on the Rodeo Walk of Style, and Tom Hanks was there, and he had actually bumped into me, and he goes, "I know you," and I'm like, "I know you, Bosom Buddies. That's one of my favorite shows." I'm like, "Are you still working, or did anything ever come from that?" And he goes, "That's why they voted." He goes, "That's why they voted you out." And I was like, "How cool is this?"
That is so funny. Wow. Well, you're so much fun, Johnny. Thanks for chatting with me.
No, thanks for having me. So, these are fun. You have not aged a day. You're amazingly beautiful.
You haven't aged either, actually. You look still very young.
Well, I running 3 to 10 miles a day and juicing and doing free weights. I think that helps. I mean, I think if I were to be still living the same lifestyle I was in Los Angeles, I don't think I would look this way.
I know, that's why I'm surprised. It's like you look like you haven't aged. You gave up the vodka for the juice.
Well, kombucha tea I think is good for you. That could secretly be the cure to the coronavirus. But don't tell people that.
We'll keep it as our little secret.
Yes.
Well, thanks, Johnny. Everyone's going to follow you on Instagram because you constantly update what you're doing and who you're having on your podcast, right? Is that the best way for us to follow you?
Sure. I'm at Instagram at Johnny Fairplay. Once again, no H in Johnny. That's JONNYFAIRPLAY. On Twitter, I'm at Johnny Fairplay. On Facebook, I'm facebook.com/Johnny Fairplay. But links to everything, including T-shirts, my video podcast, audio podcast, Patreon, all those things can all be found at survivornsfw.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you. Mwah, you look so beautiful.
Welcome back. That was Johnny Fairplay from Survivor. He's awesome. I've known him for years. And now we have a treat for you.
That was Johnny Fairplay from Survivor. He's awesome. And now
Brian Treat, how are you?
Awesome, Sparkle. How are you?
Great. So I look at your nutrition posts all the time. I love it. I'm a personal trainer, but I'm not a nutritionist. So can you give us some tips?
Absolutely. Well, most importantly, I think we should discuss the nutrition that we all want right now, no matter what. Everybody knows about protein and carbs and fats, but what do we want for this COVID crisis, right?
Right.
We want to stay healthy. So one of the biggest things that some of the top doctors are using right now, especially more than the naturopathic doctors, is zinc. Zinc is working wonders for COVID-19, as well as nitric oxide, which, hey, we all work out, right? And every time we're working out, we take a pre-workout. If you're anything like me, and included in that are nitric oxide precursors, which stimulate blood flow and deliver more nutrients to the muscle. Well, right now, COVID-19 is starving the body and depleting it of oxygen. The oxygen is not getting to the muscles or the vital organs, and people are ultimately dying from that due to organ failure. So nitric oxide supplements can help quite a bit right now with the respiratory system and the cardiovascular system. But vitamin C, echinacea, and zinc, those three are a really good combo to help keep it away from you in the first place. So we're seeing a lot of that. I sell nutrition. I'm a nutrition coach, so I'm working with people. Kind of like yourself, you physically work with people. I do the same thing, but strictly on the nutrition part. So a lot of people right now are wondering, what can we do to build up our immune system? What can we do to stay in shape? So that's one of the things that I talk with them about.
Great. Explain a little bit about the Grand Nutrition Company and what makes you different than everything else that's out there.
Awesome. Well, we started our first nutrition bar in Arizona when we lived there years ago. And basically, if you look at like a Starbucks, a coffee shop, or even a bar or a lounge, we kind of have taken that concept, but we've made it healthy. So we've got the social aspect of a coffee shop or a bar. We have a physical bar when you walk in. We have a whole lounge area. And when you come in, we serve you green teas where we grind the whole green tea leaf. So you've got very high antioxidants, great, makes you feel amazing, the energy does. Helps with pH balance, so we're helping people to become more alkaline, which is really important, especially so that you're not as disease prone. We've got shots of aloe, kind of like going somewhere and getting a wheatgrass shot. Back in the day, we do aloe. Aloe has a number of benefits that we believe in. And of course, we've got about 50 flavors of meal replacement, high protein smoothies. So it's not your typical high fruit, high sugar, just a treat smoothie. And it's not your typical just a post-workout shake, protein only, like after the gym. It's a combination of all the right micronutrients, so many nutrients that it's actually legally considered a meal. Every shake has 24 to 33 grams of protein. They all taste awesome. Everything from like strawberry shortcake to Snickers, all kinds of great names. But they're all 200 to 230 calories with 24 to 33 grams of protein. People come in for breakfast, lunch, dinner, even after they work out, and they get a combo. We also have acai bowls, which traditionally, they can be 800 to 1500 calories. Packed full of sugar. Ours are low sugar, lower in carbs, and have 24 to about 40 grams of protein. We load them up with all kinds of healthy stuff, from chia seeds to hemp hearts, all the healthy toppings, not the traditional more fruit added to it that you typically see out there. So we do a lot of healthy things, but we started our first bar in Arizona years ago. We built up many in Arizona, opened many in California. They expanded all over Northern California mainly. And then we moved to Idaho, opened one there. Now we're in Washington. We've started with one, and it's now turning into 3, and we'll move on and open more from here.
So I'm in California. What if I want to order some of these products? I obviously can't get the fresh eyeball, but I would love something else.
Well, if you go to Grand Nutrition Co., C-O for company, .com, click on shop. All of our products are on there to make everything that we serve at Grand. So you can inbox us and say, hey, I want to make a T-Bomb, which is our healthy energy drink that we make.
So you'll take us to the shops, we'll buy the products, and then you'll show us how to make it? Perfect. That's exactly what I need.
We provide all the recipes, all the shakes, the acai bowls, every single thing we'll provide you with the whole recipe.
Well, you just
and give you everything you need.
So you couldn't do that and tell me we couldn't make it. I was like, wait, how do I make this right now?
Oh, we would never do that. I would never tease you like that.
That's great. Brian Treat has the treats. So what's your personal favorite?
Oh my gosh. I do a combination of our orange cream meal replacement, which is like an orange creamsicle, like when you're a kid.
That sounds so yummy.
It's on an ice cream truck, right? Yeah, it's so good. And then I do the strawberry shortcake post-workout, and I combine the two, and I add 2 strawberries to it. Oh, game over. So good.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so amazing. So,
so
these
good.
are the post-workouts, pre-workouts, supplements. Do you have the diet plans that we can get from you as well if we're not local? How do we do that?
I do. Yeah, we have everything. In fact, we're doing a transformation challenge right now. We do it every single month starting on the 1st. Our winners can take home, right now, we start with a $1,500 pot. Ooh. And then we've got tons of physical prizes like Beats headphones, sick stuff that everybody wants to go out and get, but they're going to spend $300 or $400 on. We have prizes like that. We start it over every single month on the 1st. So you can go to Grand Nutrition Co. throughout the month. I'll post a link to the Transformation Challenge to discuss what the challenge is all about. It's not about weight loss. Only it's about physical transformation. So you as a trainer, people have different goals, right? Like some people want to put on muscle. Some people just, they want to cut up. So whatever the goals are, it's whoever has the best transformation when it comes to a photo, non-edited photo, and they can win that money. And for people being home right now, what a better way to be productive and to get into shape.
That is motivation. Too bad February is over, because that would have been a good month for me. It's like, I would have been cheating a little bit, a few days less.
I think everybody's cheating a little right now. You look great, though.
What about workouts? I know you're a nutritionist, but what do you guys offer? Because a lot of people are at home right now. They want to know what they can do. We all are drinking and eating a little bit more than usual. So what do you have for us in terms of that besides a diet? What do you recommend for workouts?
Well, it really depends on a lot of people's goals. So for someone like me, I'm kind of a hard gainer. I need a decent amount of calories, and I really need to weight train to keep everything on. But right now, I haven't been in the gym for 3 weeks, like a lot of people. Right. We haven't been in the gym. What do? I say get creative. I'm very limited with equipment I have at home, but I have a set of bands, and I've got one of those little ab rollers that I hate to use. So guess what? I'm using it. So it's switching it up, getting out of the routine from what you're normally doing, getting outside, getting more sunshine. If you're trying to build your lower body, do lunges, do walking lunges all the way down the street and back.
And you know that never gets easier. You notice how whether you have weight or not, walking lunges never get easier. I did it yesterday, and I'm like, this always hurts every time.
I can't stand it. Yeah, and I don't do them. So do whatever you're uncomfortable doing and whatever you normally won't do. And that way, when you go back and you are getting back into the grind, you're going to be hurting and doing something different that you haven't been doing. So I say when all else fails, switch it up. So if you don't normally weight train, try to weight train right now. If you normally don't go on a run or a walk or a jog, do that. If you don't normally ever use bands or do body squats or anything body weight oriented, do that. And of course, if you don't do high intensity workouts, get creative at home. There's so much. I mean, I don't know if you share workout videos, Sparkle, but I'm sure you do, and there's stuff all over YouTube.
And we need to go on your Instagram as well and follow you, because I always see you making the best. Actually, I'm always jealous when I see your stuff, because it's like this amazing food that's not there in front of me, so I'm not making it.
Well, we got to get creative right now and have fun somehow and entertain ourselves, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm kind of butthurt I can't go out to dinner, right? So I decided I'll make the best food I can at home, so that I'm not worried about not being able to go to restaurants and eat right now. And we're up here in the Pacific Northwest, so we're kind of the mecca of amazing seafood, from crab legs. And it's all up here.
Instagram is, we just look up Brian Treat, right? We'll follow you on Instagram.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so zinc, you said zinc is a big one we have to use to fight the virus. What has a lot of zinc that we should be eating?
Foods that have a lot of zinc, that's a really good question. Because it's not just about zinc, it's like there's carriers, there's ingredients that work well with certain nutrients so that your body can actually absorb them at a proper rate, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I was hearing lemon water was a really good one. But
lemon water for zinc?
Lemon water for fighting the virus.
Right, yeah, and that helps with pH balance too, which is really important. If you're highly acidic and you have a high acid lifestyle, and you're eating all the acidic foods, you're more susceptible to the virus. If you're more alkaline, you're less susceptible to the virus. So you can easily pull up Google an alkaline versus acidic food chart and try to at least eat some of the alkaline foods if that's not something you normally put in your diet.
What products do you guys sell that we should buy? Like if somebody's on a limited budget because we all lost our jobs, and you're like, if you could just get one thing right now to keep you healthy, I would encourage this. What's one of the best things that you offer that you think would be really
I've got that. So we have kind of the supercharged, turbocharged version of Emergency, which most people are familiar with.
Oh, perfect.
Ours is called, Best Defense. It's about 73% of your daily value of zinc. It's packed full of echinacea and highly absorbable vitamin C. And those three are the triple combo that work in conjunction in the cell. And we're big on absorption. So anybody can put ingredients on a label, but how does your body absorb it? And that science is really what we're known for. We're big on absorption and how does it get into the cell and what happens from that point.
Perfect. Okay, so we have all your information to order stuff. What if we want to talk to you directly? We just go to your Instagram. How do you prefer to be talked to?
Yeah, I welcome that all day, every day. I love chatting with everybody. I love helping people with their health. I'm truly passionate about that. On Instagram, I'm Brian _Treat. So BRIAN. Last name is Treat, like trick or treat. Also, Grand Nutrition GH for Gig Harbor on Instagram. And on Facebook, just search Brian Treat. There's a few of us on there, but look for the bald guy with a tan that kind of looks buff, but maybe not so much right now.
So you were saying, I've been following you for a while, and you said you made a career out of this, a living, and that people can kind of franchise if they want. Can you go a little on that?
Yeah, so what's really, really cool is, everybody's heard of a franchise, right? It's where you're kind of buying a system. So let's say you were going to open a McDonald's, they're going to tell you exactly how many pickles to put on a burger, how big is the squirt of ketchup, and how big is the squirt of mustard. And there's a system to it, and you stick with the system, and that's why they're effective, and that's why they do well. Now, typically, you're going to spend $250,000 to $400,000 or so to start a franchise in the nutrition field, food field, or anything like that. And then you're going to pay royalties out every time you sell a product or you sell a service. With us, it is the polar opposite. We're the opposite of a franchise. So this is a good thing. I will provide you with everything in terms of the nutrition bar concept, everything you need to do well. I'll help you individually brand it, name it. It'll be a turnkey type of deal. We don't charge for it, and I work with you to get it done. Work with designers and everything.
What do you mean you don't charge for it?
So it's free for me to work with someone who says, I'm going to open a nutrition bar.
Okay.
And I'll say, okay, we're going to name it Gray Nutrition, or we've used a variety of names. We're going to name it Rise Nutrition. We'll individually brand it. So I have graphic designers that I employ. I can literally create the whole brand for them. I used to run a large ad agency. It's a big part of what I do is the creative side. Because in return, ultimately, I'm going to make royalties when they move products, but the good thing is they don't have to pay that.
But we have to buy
So they're never
we
going
have
to
to
pay.
rent the building and everything, and get our business
Yes.
license.
That's
But
right.
you're saying we don't pay you on the front, just the back end, you get paid for the product sold.
Yes.
Correct?
Yep. So they'll never pay me for anything having to do with a storefront or anything like that. But what I will do is I'll market that. So we have a company called PNW Nutrition Concepts. We create the concept as a whole. We research the demographics in a specific area. We take our concept that works, but we put a unique spin on it. So everyone has a unique location, not cookie cutter, but the concept itself doesn't really stray away. So they're still going to have meal replacement smoothies. They're still going to have the same products, but we can even change recipe names. We can do little variations. So there's a lot of freedom within it, and they're not paying royalties in or out. They're getting paid up to 11% royalties in. And if they duplicate a store, someone comes in and sees it and they say, oh, I'm going to go open one of these in LA, they can make up to 11% on all the products that store sells. So all of the income comes in. There's nothing going out.
So what if I'm like, oh, I want to start one in Fresno. You look at everything. You're like, that's not really a great location because you have this, that, and that. Why don't you go a couple hours to Bakersfield? Will you give us that kind of guidance?
That is precisely what I do. So I do a lot of research, just like if Starbucks was going to open a location, the research they do, I do very, very similar research. So this is what I used to do in my past. I helped a lot of small businesses and franchises start, and a lot of the names you would even know of, big retail storefronts to gyms. I've helped a very successful gym franchise roll out many locations previously to starting my own business, but that's part of what I do. So that's one reason that we do well, because we know what we're doing. We can help owners do really, really well right now. And even during COVID, we had our largest month in business last month.
Do you have locations inside of gyms? Is that something big that Grand Nutrition does?
We do. There's a franchise, smaller franchise called True Hit Fitness. So it would be similar to CrossFit or Orange Theory or F45, probably most similar to F45. and they have nutrition bars either inside or they have a suite that's attached with a nutrition bar, and they are a huge hit. They're
What kind of dog
Sorry,
is
my
What kind of dog is that?
She's a golden doodle. Trying to keep her quiet.
So cute. Well, that's awesome, Brian. You have so much going on. You live in a beautiful area.
Love it up here. I've lived all over and just over the heat, and now we get a ton of rain, but you know what? With the rain comes a lot of beauty, just like anywhere. You know, go to Ireland, it rains a lot. Go to England, it rains a lot. And so, you know, little sacrifices for the rain, but it's so worth it, especially this time of year.
Like
when
the Twilight,
surrounded-
50 Shades of Grey landscape.
Yes. Evergreens, water, mountains, awesome air. I love it.
That's incredible. Yeah, we're going to keep in touch with you. We're going to see what you're doing. Where any new franchises popping up that we should be aware of? Because you said California, Idaho, Washington. Where else?
Well, Washington is about to go crazy. So we're looking at Kirkland, Bellevue, Seattle, Tacoma. We're about to open in Port Orchard, which is just north of where I am right now, Gig Harbor. Possibly we'll open another location in Gig Harbor. And University Place, which is kind of attached to Tacoma, coming up really soon. So I've been very focused on this area.
You're moving on the West Coast, then.
Yeah.
I need to move
Yeah,
to
in Canada.
We need to have you all over the country.
Sure. Definitely. Yeah. And Canada's about to get a handful. British Columbia.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Brian Treat.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. This is the first episode of The Sparkle Show, and there is more to come. Stay tuned next Thursday at 4.